July 27th to order, and I guess I will say the invocation followed by a prayer. If everybody please rise. I'd like to have a moment of silent prayer to remember the loss of our council clerk, Ms. Suzette Thomas, who we dearly miss. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Hampton, roll call.
Mr. Dirk Guidry. Here. Mr. Charles Clare. Mr. Navy. Here. Mr. Harding. Here. Mr. Michel. Mr. Amadei. Here. Mrs. Domain. Here. Mr. Darren Guidry.
Here.
Mr. Bethel. Here. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum present.
And in accordance with the Americans with Disabilities Act, we are accommodating Mr. Michel via Zoom. Approve minutes of the special session held on June 21st, 2022. Moved by Mr. Dirk Guidry.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Jessica Domingue. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Approve minutes of the regular council session held on June 22nd, 2022. Moved by Mr. Carl Harding. Second. Seconded Mr. John Amity. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Distribute minutes of the special session condemnations held on July 21st, 2022, which we've done. Distribute minutes of the regular council session held on July 13th, 2022, which we've done. Approved accounts payable bill list for July 18th and July 25th, 2022. Moved by Mr. Carl Harding, seconded by, who seconded that? Mr. Danny Babin. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And approve manual checklist for June 2022. Move Ms. Jessica Domingue, seconded by Mr. Danny Babin. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 1, general business. Commendation recognizing the Home of Terrebonne Soccer Association's U19 Blackhawks boys soccer team for winning the Louisiana President's Cup State Championship, the Southern President's Cup Regional Tournament, and for competing in the U.S. Youth Soccer National President's Cup. It's with pleasure that I read this. Whereas the Home of Terrebonne Soccer Association's U19 Bayou Blackhawks boys soccer team was crowned U.S. Youth Soccer Louisiana President Cups state champions earlier this year. And whereas the team competed in Frisco, Texas against teams from Arkansas, North Carolina, North Texas, and Florida to be crowned the U.S. Youth Soccer Southern President's Cup regional champions on June 19th, 2022. And whereas the team recently competed at the U.S. Youth Soccer Nationals President Cup Tournament from July 7th through the 10th, 2022, representing the Southern region against teams representing East, West, and Midwest regions. And whereas the team is to be commended on their unprecedented and historic season and recognized for their success while representing the Home of Terrebonne area at all levels of competition. Now, therefore, by the Terrebonne Parish Council, on behalf of the parish president and the entire Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government, that the Home of Terrebonne Soccer Association's U19 Blackhawks boys soccer team be commended for their hard work and dedication towards winning multiple championship titles and congratulated on their competing at the U.S. Youth Soccer National President's Cup Tournament. It is presented this 27th day of July, signed by Mr. Gordon Dove, Parish President, and myself as Council Chairman on behalf of the entire Terrebonne Parish Council. And I also have some individual certificates. Is Coach Travis Dupre here? Travis, if you'd come up, I have a certificate, and if you want, you can give out these as I call them. If you want to, we can line up in the front and we'll take a picture.
Yes, sir.
The team includes assistant coach Chris Sazak, team manager Tammy Melanson. We also have Zachary Plaisance, players Wyatt Bonvalant, Thomas Schneider, Ryan Rogers, Riley Rogers, Luke Rotolo, Landon Williams, Cone Melanson, Kevin Palencia, Caspian Thomas, Jude Robichaux, Joshua Rotolo, Waro Madrid Lopez, Jacob Bruce, Hayden Toops, Dakota Purvis, Colin Knockan, Brian Gramajo, Brady Bergeron, and Austin Leday. And if we want to just, guys, if you want to stand up, we can take a picture.
These kids are so tall, they're taller than me.
I know.
We can do a squat there, we always do.
Where's the Brady? Come to the end. Austin, go to the end.
That's in front of her, yeah.
That's better. You wouldn't be able to see me.
Who we look at? We're good?
Yes.
Okay, Coach. And Coach, the mic is yours if you want to say something.
All right, wasn't planning on talking tonight, but here goes. Very proud of what these young men accomplished this year with everything that our area has been through this year, coming out, competing and winning state, and doing something that no team from Louisiana, no boys team from Louisiana has never done, winning the regional championship and then competing in the Final Four for the national championship was something to be very proud of for these young men. We represented not only Louisiana, but the southern region really well in the national round. Unfortunately, we had a couple heat injuries in the first game, kind of took us out of it, but we finished strong and knocked off the #1 seed in the final game and took them out of the tournament with us. So we ended on a strong note with our heads held high and represented well. And we appreciate y'all having us out here tonight to recognize these young men. Thank y'all.
And just to reiterate, Coach, you said this is the first time a boys team from anywhere in Louisiana has represented our region.
Yes, sir.
And has won that regional tournament. So congratulations on that and representing the region and the state and Homa. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Moving along to a commendation honoring Mr. Philip Martin on his years of service as Terrebonne Parish Board Superintendent, Mr. John Navy.
Yes, if we do honor, I definitely would like to allow Mr. Bubba Argeron, the new superintendent, to come up and read this commendation. I just want to pass that torch on properly. Also, after this, Mr. Argeron will make a few comments. I would like to have Mr. Joe Waits and Mr. Greg Harding, the board president, come in. They want to make some comments too. And then I'll allow Mr. Martin to do our presentation to him. I just want to say one thing before I do this. This man been in my life since I was 10 years old. I ain't telling you how old I am right now, but since I was 10 years old. And he structured me in the right way. And I can't do this commendation because I'm emotional. I don't want to cry in front of a bunch of people on TV. So I'll allow Mr. Bubba Argeron to do this and pass this torch the proper way. Thank you, man. I love you to death.
So, good evening, everyone. So here is the commendation. It says this: whereas Mr. Philip Martin has recently completed an extensive career over 48 years in education in Terrebonne Parish, and whereas Mr. Martin began his career with Terrebonne Parish School District in 1974 as a teacher, working 6 years at Grand Caillou Elementary and Terrebonne High School, and whereas Mr. Martin then served 16 years as an administrator, working as an assistant principal at Oak Lawn Elementary and Ellender High School, then as principal at Homa Junior High, and the Terrebonne Career and Technical High School. And whereas Mr. Martin then moved into the central office, serving for 5 years as supervisor of secondary education and the vocational technical education, then serving for 7.5 years as assistant superintendent, and was ultimately named superintendent in 2009. And whereas the school district has seen many improvements, advancements, and expansions during Mr. Martin's 13.5 years as superintendent, from increased test scores and graduation rates to improved school ratings to brand new and newly renovated facilities. And whereas Terrebonne Parish has greatly benefited from Mr. Martin's scholarship, mentorship, and leadership through his efforts and dedication to providing the essential engagement, education, and enrichment for all students of Terrebonne Parish. And whereas Mr. Martin is to be congratulated on his retirement and shown appreciation for his many years of service to the school district and to the Terrebonne Parish as a whole. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Terrebonne Parish Council on behalf of the parish president and entire Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government that Mr. Philip Martin be hereby recognized and commended, and that he be presented a key to the city to represent the importance of his numerous achievements and enduring impacts on the education in Terrebonne Parish, and his lasting dedication to the supporting the children of Terrebonne Parish. That's the commendation. So this is so well said and well done. A lot of what I had to say is in this commendation, but Mr. Martin has served as basically a CEO for 13 years, 2,500 employees, 18,000 kids. He built new schools. He consolidated schools, which was the prudent thing to do, but difficult. It says in here that we grew academically as a district under his leadership. We're the 14th ranked district in Louisiana out of 70 school districts. We're a solid B school, 94% graduation rate. He's led through the pandemic. And we were one of the few, if not the only school district in Louisiana that maintained live teaching and didn't go exclusively virtual. One of the only ones, if not the only district in Louisiana. He led through Ida. We were back in school under his leadership in under a month. And he did that because he understood the importance of getting kids back for the sake of the community and parish of Terrebonne Parish. And he always led through this lens meaning or saying this: if it's good for kids, then that's what we're going to do. He lived that and ran every decision through that lens. So I thank him for his mentorship, his leadership, and what he's meant to this district and myself. And this is an honor well deserved by Mr. Martin. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before you make your comment, I want Mr. Waits and Mr. Martin to come up. Okay. And they want to say some things about themselves.
Thank you, Mr. Navy. Sitting in the audience, I heard roll call, and I heard Mr. Harding about to say here. He's kind of used to doing that. That was more like on a joking note. Again, my name is Gregory Harding, and I'm president of Terrebonne Parish School Board, and I've had the privilege to work with Mr. Martin over the past 24 years, 14 years as being superintendent. You cannot find a finer guy to have as your superintendent. Sorry to lose him. In the later years, Mr. Philip Martin pretty much worked for nothing. He was working for nothing because he could have retired and had the same salary. That just tells you the love that he had for this system and for the kids of this system. And like I said, we didn't always agree on everything. Like I said, me and my wife don't agree on everything. I'm sure some of your spouses don't agree on everything. But the thing about it is that we're in the same boat. We might be in a different seat. We was in the same boat. So my ideas might be a little different from his. But we've always said that as long as he put kids first, you can never go wrong. And most men, it's bashful to say this shit, but I love that guy. I love what he did for me. I love what he did for our system. The system is going to miss him. Mr. Orgeron has, I won't say, I don't like using footsteps, but he has a tall job ahead of him to make the accomplishment Mr. Martin did. And I told him 12 or 13 years ago, we had superintendents in the past. We had a guy that was here prior to him, and we had 2 superintendents after him, Dr. Fedesco. And we had 2 superintendents after Dr. Fedesco. And the public and the teachers and employees were still talking about Dr. Fedesco. So I told him 13 years ago, I said, Mr. Martin, I said, what you need to do from day one, start your legacy. Make sure that when you leave here, you're going to leave a legacy that can say, hey, listen, these are some of the things that I accomplished along with the board. So again, Mr. Martin, I'm not afraid to tell you that I love you, man. I'm going to miss you. It's sorry to see you go, but then, like I said, it's a kind of bittersweet moment because you got in with the old, or out with the old, and in with the new. And when you're in with the new, there's optimism about change, the optimism about going forward. And I think that Mr. Martin has left this school district in a sound financially, and also educationally solid state. So again, Mr. Martin, congratulations. I can't stay because, again, as usual, I'm pulling double duties. I'm doing a double dip here. We got flag football tonight that's going on at the complex. So actually, I'm running a little late. So I'm gonna have to leave before I hear his comments. But thank you guys for the hard work that you guys do also too, because there have not been any scandals here in Terrebonne Parish between the school board and also the parish government. So thank you guys, and God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, School Board Member and President Harding. We also have School Board Member Roger Dale Dehart here. Would you like to say something? Or we also have our District Attorney, Mr. Joe Waits. Would you like to say something?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. I've been knowing Philip Martin for many, many years. And one of the first meetings we had with him, just to show the type of guy that he is, we were on different sides of an issue. And that was some 20 years ago. Over the past 20 years, since that issue, we have become dear friends, and we have worked together on a daily basis to keep our children safe in the school system. There's always I don't get involved in the education aspect of it because that's not my cup of tea, but from a safety standpoint, we worked hand in hand. Any issues, I would pick up the phone and call him. He would pick up the phone and call me. And we had that kind of relationship to address these issues, to keep our school system safe, and whatever I could do from a law enforcement standpoint. So, like Greg said, we usually agree on most issues. I think there's once or twice we disagreed, and I think shortly thereafter you apologized and said you were wrong, huh? That's not true, but anyway, just to show you the type of relationship we've had has been very good over the years. I continue to look forward to working with the school board, working with Bubba, and keeping this relationship going. And he's the longest serving superintendent in Terrebonne Parish, and that's a great accomplishment. That in itself says what kind of man he is. We've become fishing friends, hunting friends, and I'm very concerned about him homesteading my camp right now. But other than that, I congratulate him. He's an awesome guy, and we were lucky to have him. Thank you.
Thank you, District Attorney Waits.
If it's okay, I'd like to introduce who's here with us, our Director of Child Welfare and Attendance, Mr. Mark Tarbert, and our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Becky Brewer, who are also here to support Mr. Martin. Thank you.
I'm Roger Dale Dehart, 661 by Delorge Road. I represent District 7 on the Terrebonne Parish School Board. It's a great honor that I get a chance to speak about Mr. Philip Martin. Mr. Philip Martin, out of all the board members, whether we had 15 members or 9 now, I think I have the most years that I've known Mr. Martin. The first time I met him, he was at Eleanor High School as an assistant principal. And there he did a wonderful job, and I watched his path all the way to the central office. And I can tell you, many times him and I had hours and hours of discussion because I talked too much. But he listened gracefully. We came up with ideas. We shared thoughts. And it was very progressive for our school system and children. He is one of the true dear friends that I've worked with. And I had 6 superintendents before him. And I liked and got along with all of them. But I tell you what, Philip is more personal. He's been to my home, met my family, and I know his family. His beautiful wife is a school teacher in one of the schools I represent. But from day one, I represented Terrebonne Parish, not just District 7. That's the way I felt with Mr. Bobby Boudreau. He swore us in for the first time and said, I represent Terrebonne Parish. I humbly tried that, and I'm very successful to say that Mr. Martin helped me be successful. With proof of that, I'm almost completing 32 years, and I have been reelected for 4 more years. This is not a campaign thing that I'm saying. I owe a lot of credit to Mr. Philip Martin. He made me look good, and that takes a lot of work. So I want to tell Mr. Martin, I enjoyed every day. Whenever we disagreed, it made me stop and think and do the right thing for children. Whenever we agreed, watch out, get out of our way, because we weren't going to stop until it was accomplished. And like some of the things Mr. Armstrong said, I remember whenever I first got on the board, Terrebonne Parish public school system was way down, I'm going to say 3/4 of the way down the list. And to be ranked up there to the 14th and higher now and then, I'm just saying it took many years, a lot of dedicated employees that he took care of, and we took care of the other business and doing a balanced budget. So I humbly say, Mr. Martin, I wish you well. I heard so many fishing and hunting stories between him and the DA. I don't know which one to believe, but I tell you what, they love each other with a passion, and I still don't know which one to believe. So saying that, I will tell you that right now, every time I saw a picture, I had a different story. So that's why I don't know what to believe, but they're both humble people, and I tell you what, best of friends, and I hope Mr. Martin doesn't stay a stranger. He earned the reputation he has, and I've never heard of people talk anything but positive about Superintendent Philip Martin. So I wish him and his wife a long, good retirement, and guess what? Enjoy life the best they can while he's still healthy. So again, thank you, Mr. Philip Martin, for helping me be the person I am and helping students in Terrebonne Parish Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you, School Board Member Dior. Mr. Navy.
I'd like Mr. Martin to come back up to the podium to make some comments. But before he makes his comments, he's talking about hunting trips. I like to tell the story. I'm going to tell it one more time, okay? Mr. Waits called me maybe about 2 weeks ago, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, was asking me to go hunting. He said, man, why don't you come hunting with me and Mr. Martin? I said, hunting? I said, okay. Hunting where? We got a camp in the woods. I said, okay, where you want to go hunting in the camp in the woods, Mr. Waits? He said, Mississippi. I said, Mississippi with guns, with 2 men that don't look like me. Okay. Something don't seem right with that, Mr. Waits. I said, no, I don't want to come hunting with you, man. But speaking of hunting trips, I'm glad I didn't go. But at the end of the day, I appreciate the offer, man. But no, it's great. It's a great honor and pleasure to do this for Mr. Martin. And I think it's due time that we do recognize people that's historical in this parish, that played a very vital role in our community, especially in education. And I've been in education for the last 15, 14 years, and if it wouldn't have been for you, I wouldn't be here. And you know, we talk about this a lot, you know, and you put some structure in my life when I was a young boy, telling me even when I was a class clown, you put me in your office and you did some things that I didn't like, but you did. You paddled me, but at the end of the day, it was worth it because you made me a better person than I am today than I was then. And you told me when you set me down and told me I'm doing this because I love you and I want you to be educated and stop being a clown in class. I appreciate what you've done for me, man. That's why I tell you all the time I love you, because you put direction and guidance in my life the way I need to be. And I tell you what, Bubba Arjuan, listen, you're going to take you're going to be good for this parish. I'm telling you, because you're taking a step from him and you're learning from him and you have learned over the years with him. I love you, brother, for doing that with him, okay? Thank you for being that person that you are. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Harding.
Yes. To say to the citizens of Terrebonne Parish, of course, everyone knows Greg's my brother. And me being a civil servant for for so many years, really didn't get involved in politics. But Greg and I, we sat down, we had conversations. And sometimes we have conversation about certain topics, certain individuals. And to say this to the people, the relationship that Greg had with Philip Martin in my heart. Greg, what Greg said about you to the public, he said to me in public. And I think we can take a page on success and relationships in Terrebonne Parish to see how we go forward to make everything better. Not to say that we all have to agree, like Joe said, and Greg said, and Philip understands that, and we're all up here, we understand that too. So with that being said, I said, well, you know, man, whatever Greg said publicly, he said to me privately. And when he says that to his brother, it's the truth. And I thank you for your services because it transfers from Greg to you to me. And I appreciate our relationship that we have actually had during the period of time that we have been associated with each other. So thank you very much.
Mr. Duff.
Yeah, and Philip, from myself and of course on behalf of Terrebonne Parish, for me personally, it's been an honor and a pleasure working with you. I think we've solved a lot of problems. And, you know, the working relationship between this government and the school board, I don't think that you could get any tighter and more things accomplished. You've been a great leader, and it's been an honor and pleasure to work with you and, of course, your staff. And I look forward to working with Bubba, and I hope you enjoyed Toledo, Ben. And, of course, hunting with Mr. Waits over there. You probably out-hunt him, but I don't know if we're going to get into that. But no, you're a true friend. Thank you very much, you, your wife, your family, and it's been an honor and a pleasure. And, of course, I'll see you around. Thank you very much, Philip.
And of
God
course,
bless you and your family.
the man of honor and my constituent. The floor is yours, Mr. Martin.
Mr. Chairman Guidry, Mr. President Dove, all members of the council, let me first begin by saying thank each of you for your service you provide to our community in such an unselfish manner. Your leadership is certainly appreciated and recognized by all. Secondly, let me say that being recognized and honored tonight is indeed a privilege and an honor, and one that I will cherish forever. I certainly appreciate all the friends that have shown up tonight and the council for recognizing me tonight. I will always cherish that. I have had a wonderful career in Terrebonne Parish. I've had seen, as an educator, when you see your students succeed, it's like a shot of adrenaline seeing Mr. Navy when I knew him when he was 10 years old and see what he has done with his life. You know, we're part of 18,000 kids' life, and I'm very proud to have been able to play a small part in trying to help our kids. We had a lot of help along the way. The Parish Council has always been supportive of the Terrebonne Parish School District. Thank you for that. Thank you for the acknowledgement tonight. It's very special. I appreciate it deeply. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. The next item is C, an update on legislative session from Honorable Mike Fazy, Senator, District 20. I don't think Mike has arrived yet. We could revisit that if he arrives. Moving along to D, presentation by Parish Administration relative to capital projects, including drainage, utility, road, and quality of life projects, as well as other matters related to the operations and maintenance of parish government. Mr. Toops.
Mr. Chairman, we have no presentation tonight because we expected Senator Fessie's presentation. We will be given one in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Toops. Item E, introduction of Mr. Cohen Guidry, new CEO of the Terrebonne Economic Development Authority. I know, Mr. Guidry, you have been coming to several of our meetings to do this, and we've run long, and it just so happens that we're running ahead of schedule. So the floor is yours.
All right. President Dove, Chairman Guidry, ladies and gentlemen of the board, thank you for having me here and allowing me to introduce myself. I'm Cohen Guidry. I'm a resident, lifelong resident of Houma, Louisiana. I've come from 30 years of private sector in oil and gas. I was selected through the interview process to be the new CEO of TITA. And, some of the things that are of such great value to me is just acceptance from all the people I run into and that I meet in this parish and in the government. I've been interviewed on TV already. I run into people I haven't seen in 20 and 30 years, and it's rewarding. I've lived here most of my life, but I've worked away. So coming back and being able to give something back to this community is very rewarding for me, and I look very forward to it. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you on projects that fall in your district or programs and projects that we may have together. So, leadership, I think, is a lot, and, you have to have a strong core group, and you lead from the front. You have integrity with everything that you do, and that's my intent to lead this group in TITA. I've been told about great things. I've been told about not so great things, but, I want TITA to be the group that other organizations within the parish model themselves after. So that's it's a pretty big challenge I've placed on our group and ourselves. And, we're going to do this. I've got 30, 60, 90-day goals and one-year goals, and hopefully we'll be able to meet all those. And I invite any of you to call me with anything that you're concerned with or have questions about. Come to our meetings. We meet once a month just like you guys do, and I'm available. I've lived a 24-hour lifestyle for many, many years, so I do answer my phone in some pretty odd hours. But, I want to give back to this community and see it grow. The downtown growth, I think, is a very special project to a lot of us here, and I think if we can get our downtown in Terrebonne Parish built back, it's a great place to live, and it's a great place to have people come and visit. We've had a lot of out-of-towners in our community for almost a year since the storm, and everyone that I encounter, I don't know why, but I ask them, how are people treating you here? And I probably say we get a 98, 99% positive reaction. And that means a lot to me because I'm viewed as part of the residents of Terrebonne Parish in this community. And through my career, I've been fortunate to be able to travel around the world, and I've been treated like royalty and trash in the same countries. And it's not a good feeling when you go someplace and they don't want you there. So again, I look forward to serving this position and this community to the best of my ability and help it grow and become something very special that's sought after.
Thank you, Mr. Guidry.
You bet. Thanks, Nick.
And item F was going to be a discussion and update from the Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness relative to COVID-19 and any other pertinent public information, but Mr. Hughes was unable to attend today's meeting. Is there anything you needed to add, Mr. Harding, or?
No, it's going to be revisited. He's going to come back in about 2 weeks, and he just wanted to have these two numbers out there, which was 21% and 27.1% positivity, and we're still under 50% in vaccination. Thank you.
Mr. Navy?
Yes, I've asked to public health, actually. I had a conversation with Mr. Hughes before he was not able to make this meeting. Asking for public health for now to come and make that presentation so we don't have to bother Mr. Earl Hughes with that situation anymore. So I spoke with the new guy that came here before and some other people, so we'll allow them to come and give that data and that information. I think that would be pertinent information coming from public health versus our own Homeland Security, because they are getting the information directly on COVID and all the information. So I've asked the chairman to allow the committee to have public health come and make maybe a monthly report on that situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davey. Moving on to 6:30 public hearings. Item A is an ordinance to amend the zoning map of the parish of Terrebonne so as to rezone from R1 single-family residential to R3 multifamily residential, Lot 19, Block 2, Barrow Subdivision, 361 Dixie Avenue, Houma, Terrebonne Parish, Louisiana. Dream Street Properties LLC is the applicant. Public once, public twice, third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Dirk Gidry.
Second.
Seconded, Ms. Jessica Domingue. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Do we have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Okay, we have a motion to adopt, Mr. Gerald Michel, seconded, Mr. Dirk Gidry. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item B, an ordinance to declare as surplus 40 tax sale properties adjudicated to the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government to acquire authorization to dispose of said properties in accordance with Louisiana Revised Statute 47:2196, and they include 953 Highway 55, 525 Highway 665, 103 Reynold Street, 212 Reynold Street, 130 Cypress Grove Street, 117 Victor LaBeouf Street, 6106 Highway 56, 6106 Highway 56, separate parcel, 118 Gates Lane, 618 Maria Street, 108 Jane Street, 404 Jerry Ann Street, 7326 Trudy Street, 237 Henderson Street, 1254 Coteau Road, 171, 167, 177, and 181 Livas Lane, 1610 Highway 20, 6309 North Bayou Black Drive.
6302.
6302 North Bayou Black Drive. Thank you, Ms. Domingue. 7714 Roussel Street, 296 Brooklyn Avenue, 354 Morrison Avenue, 227 Kelly Drive, 507 Leveron Street, 424 Leveron Street, 411 Morgan Street, 333 South Van Avenue, 119 Crozier Drive, 220 Porsche Lane, 106 Hacienda Drive, 7406 Shrimpers Row, 184 Rose Street, 171 Marjorie Street, sorry about that, 105 Panda Lane, 5849 Grand Caillou Road, 5758 Grand Caillou Road, 3710 Baker Drive, 213 Lyles Street, 2622 Madge Street, 125 West Street, 2626 Bryant Street, 101 Tulane Street, 609A, 613A, 615A, Maria Street. Public once. Public twice. Third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Danny Babin, seconded Mr. Dirk Gidry. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion to adopt, Mr. Danny Babin, seconded Mr. Dirk Gidry. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item C is an ordinance to declare as surplus 5 tax sale properties adjudicated to the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government to acquire authorization to dispose of said properties in accordance with Louisiana Revised Statute 47:2196. They include 136 Banks Avenue, 9180 and 9185 Grand Caillou Road, 113 Victor LaBeouf Avenue, 407 Prince Collins Street, 628 Maria Street. Public once. Public twice. Third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Danny Babin, second Mr. Carl Harding. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to adopt, Mr. Danny Babin, second Mr. Carl Harding. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item D, an ordinance to declare as surplus a tax property located at 127 3rd Street, adjudicated to the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government to acquire authorization to dispose of said property in accordance with Louisiana Revised Statute 47:2196. Public once. Public twice. Third time public.
Motion to close.
Motion to close, Ms. Domingue. Second to Mr. Harding. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Ms. Domingue. Second to Mr. Harding. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item E is an ordinance to take possession and acquire in full ownership the following property adjudicated to the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public purpose: 2289 Bayou DeLarge Road, parcel number 40260, with owner of record Adval Inc., and to address other matters relative thereto. Public once. Public twice. Third time public. Motion to close, Ms. Danny Babin, seconded Mr. Dirk Gidry. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion to adopt, Mr. Danny Babin.
Second.
Seconded, Ms. Jessica Domingue. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item F is an ordinance to take possession and acquire in full ownership the following property adjudicated to the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public purpose: 2287A Bayou DeLarge Road, parcel 39671, with owner of record Adval Inc., to address other matters relative thereto. Public once, public twice, third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Danny Babin.
Second.
Second, Mr. Carl Harding. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Danny Babin. Second, Mr. Carl Harding. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item G, an ordinance to acquire in full ownership the following property adjudicated to Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public purpose: 85.6929% of parcel 41033, with owner of record being Thomas R. Prune. I guess that's 83.6929%, and Octavia Simpson, 1.9049%, to address other matters relative thereto. Public once, public twice, third time public.
Motion to close.
Motion to close, Mr. Carl Harding, seconded by Mr. Gerald Michel. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to adopt, Mr. Carl Harding, seconded by Mr. Gerald Michel. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item H, an ordinance to acquire in full ownership the following property adjudicated to the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public purpose: parcel number 59651, with owner of record J&D Land Development Partners, LLC. Public once, public twice, third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Dirk Guidry, seconded by Mr. Danny Babin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Dirk Guidry, seconded by Mr. Danny Babin. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item I, an ordinance to approve industrial tax exemption program application number 202-00534-ITE for K&B Machine Works, LLC. Public once, public twice, third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Danny Babin, seconded Mr. Dirk Guidry. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Danny Babin, seconded Mr. Dirk Guidry. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item J, an ordinance to approve industrial tax exemption program application number 201-90322-ITE for Bollinger Homa Shipyards, LLC. Public once, public twice, third time public.
Second.
Motion to close, Mr. Danny Babin, seconded Mr. Carl Harding. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to adopt, Mr. Danny Babin, seconded Mr. Carl Harding. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item K, an ordinance to declare vehicles for Good Earth Transit as past their useful lives and authorize said items to be disposed of by public bid, negotiated sale, junked, or by any other legally approved method. Public once, public twice, third time public.
Motion to close.
Motion to close, Mr. Dirk Guidry, seconded by Mr. Carl Harding. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Dirk Guidry, seconded Mr. Carl Harding. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item L, an ordinance amending the 2022 budget of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government so as to adjust the 2022 adopted beginning fund balances and the net positions to actual as per 2021 audited financial statements. Public once, public twice, third time public.
Motion to close. Second.
Motion to close, Mr. Dirk Guidry, seconded Mr. Carl Harding. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Dirk Guidry, seconded Mr. Carl Harding. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item N, an ordinance to amend the 2022 adopted operating budget and five-year capital outlay budget of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for the following items and to provide for related matters: the Rotary Centennial Plaza, $900,000. Bayou Black Pump Station, Hanson Canal, $51,000. LA 24 sidewalks, $40,000. West Side area drainage, $55,000. Public once, public twice, third time public.
Motion to close.
Motion to close, Ms. Domingue. Seconded by Mr. Amity. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Ms. Domingue. Seconded by Mr. Amity. Discussion, Ms. Domingue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I have a question for Mr. Pulaski. We have the $900,000 for the Rotary Centennial Park Plaza, which is actually in our downtown area, which has been something we've been really excited about. So do you have any input on when we're going to be doing groundbreaking on that project, just so that we can let public know?
Yesterday, we had a bid. Bid packages were due at 2 p.m. yesterday. We had 0 bids, so we are at present getting the bid package relisted, re-advertised, and we're going to get hopefully get a response on this next round. So that was a bit of a snag, but we had a couple of contractors show up at the pre-bid meeting, so we were hoping to get at least one of those bids in, but we'll get it re-advertised and hopefully get it taken care of.
I was hoping to hear some good news, but thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Babin?
Yeah, just to mention, as we did Monday night in the committee meetings, this $900,000, there's plenty state money in there and plenty private money in there. Very little from Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government. So I just want the people out in the community to know that this doesn't all just come from Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government.
I don't believe any of it is.
Thank you. Yeah, a little.
Mr. Amity.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chris, is that going out on statewide public bid auctions?
Yes, sir.
So it's not just a local thing? Because we had the same problem with Rec 1. When they went out the first time, we had one respondent who was out of budget. Then they went back out a second time. They went through the public bid auction site, and they were able to get some response. I was just curious.
Yeah, it's central bidding site, and I'm told that that's statewide. So
yeah, that's who we use all the time.
So if any contractors are at home listening or watching, take a look.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Amity. We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item N, an ordinance to authorize a right of use for ingress and egress by the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government and Hospital Service District Number 1 of Terrebonne Parish on Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government property with conditions that runs parallel to Enterprise Drive. Public once. Public twice, third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Danny Babin, seconded by Mr. Carl Harding. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion to adopt, Mr. Danny Babin, seconded Mr. Carl Harding. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. O is an ordinance to rename Ringo Coke Road as R. Boudreaux Farms Road. Public once. Public twice. Third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Carl Harding, seconded Mr. Danny Babin. That was Danny Babin?
Yes.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to adopt, Mr. Carl Harding, seconded Mr. Danny Babin. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. 2, committee reports. Public Service Committee, Mr. John Amity.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Public Services Committee held on July 25th, 2022, and I have 6 public hearings. First hearing is to introduce an ordinance to acquire in full ownership the following property adjudicated to Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public use. Parcel number 20501 with municipal address of 580 New Orleans Boulevard with the owner of record, EAC Barges Incorporated, to address other matters relative thereto and call a public hearing on Wednesday, August 10th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. The second is to introduce an ordinance to acquire in full ownership the following property adjudicated to Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public use. Parcel number 30744 with owner of record Bradley D. Levine to address other matters relative thereto and call a public hearing on Wednesday, August 10th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. The third is to introduce an ordinance to acquire in full ownership the following property adjudicated to Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public purpose, parcel number 30745 with municipal address of 314A Island Road with owner of record Bradley Levine to address other matters relative thereto and call a public hearing on Wednesday, August 10th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. The fourth is to introduce an ordinance to acquire in full ownership the following property adjudicated to Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public purpose. Parcel number 30809 with municipal address of 568/569 Island Road with owner of record Lucille Billiot to address other matters relative thereto and call a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, August 10th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. The fifth is to introduce an ordinance to acquire in full ownership the following property adjudicated to Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public purpose. Parcel number 31158 with municipal address of 329A Island Road with owner of record Justine Dordor, to address other matters relative thereto and call a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, August 10th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. And the sixth is to introduce an ordinance to acquire in full ownership the following property adjudicated to Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public use, parcel number 31159 with owner of record Travis J. Dordor, to address other matters relative thereto and call a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, August 10th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. Thank you.
Motion, Mr. Hamady, seconded, Mr. Dirk Gidry. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have Budget and Finance Committee, Mr. Carl Harding.
Yeah, the Budget and Finance Committee. I make a motion that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Budget and Finance Committee held on July 25th, 2022, and I have two public hearings. The first one will be introducing the ordinance to declare as surplus a tax property located at 358 Railroad Avenue adjudicated to the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government to acquire authorization to dispose and of said property in accordance with the LARS 472196 and call for a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, August 10th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. The second one would be to introduce an ordinance to amend the 2022 adopted operation budget, 5-year capital outlay budget and budgeting position of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for the following items and provide for related matters. One, the city marshal, $23,150. Number two, the Rotary Centennial Plaza, $275,000. Three, animal shelter donation, $21,777. Parish prisoners, $11,587. La Petite Theater, $20,000. West Side Amel Street drainage, $1,175,963. Pollution control, $40,855. And operation manager grade, 212. Thank you.
Motion, Mr. Harding, seconded, Mr. Dirk Gidry. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes. Policy, Procedure, and Legal Committee, that's to you again, Mr. Harding.
Yes, I make a motion that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Policy and Procedure and Legal Committee held on July 25th, 2022. I have no public hearings.
Moving Mr. Harding, seconded by Mr. Danny Babin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Street lights, as per Mr. Dirk Gidry.
Second.
Seconded Mr. Domingue. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 4, appointments to various boards, committees, and commissions. Recreation District Number 10, one expiring term on August 26, 2022. Ms. Annette Burgo expresses her interest in being reappointed.
Open, close, and appoint.
Motion to open, close, and reappoint Mr. Danny Babin.
Second.
Seconded Mr. Dirk Gidry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item B, Homa Board of Zoning and Adjustments, one vacancy due to resignation. This position is for an alternate position. Reverend Corian D. Gray submits application and resume for consideration.
Open, close, and appoint.
Motion to open, close, and appoint.
A motion
as the alternate.
A motion and open, close, and appoint Mr. Gray to that alternate position by Mr. Gerald Michel, seconded Mr. Danny Babin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item C, Terrebonne General Medical Center Hospital Services Board, two expiring terms on July 31st, 2022, one representing a civic organization and one representing the Chamber of Commerce. Ms. Orlando Williams, representing the Chamber of Commerce, submits resume and application for consideration, as does Ms. Wendy Rotolo, representing the Chamber of Commerce, submits her resume and application for consideration. And Mr. Tanner D. McGee, representing a civic organization, submits his application for consideration.
Open, close, and vote.
Motion to open, close, and appoint Mr. Tanner McGee for the civic organization position, and to open, close, and vote for the Chamber of Commerce position.
Motion to open and open, close, and appoint Mr. McGee to represent the civic organization, and open, close, and vote on the other position. It was moved by Mr. Gerald Michel, seconded Mr. Danny Babin. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? A roll call, Mr. Hampton?
Yes, sir. Mr. Dirk Guidry.
Ms. Williams?
Mr. Trosclair. Mr. Navy.
Williams.
Mr. Harding.
Williams.
Mr. Michel.
Excuse me, can y'all repeat who's voting for whom? I can't hear it.
Okay, so far, I think we've had 3 people voting for Ms. Williams. 3 votes for Ms. Williams.
And just, if y'all would just repeat them as they vote, I would appreciate that. It's my turn, and I'm voting for Ms. Williams.
Okay, Mr. Michel votes for Ms. Williams.
Mr. Amade.
Williams.
Mr. Amade votes for Williams.
Ms. Domingue.
Williams.
Ms. Domingue votes for Williams.
Mr. Darren Guidry.
Mr. Darren Guidry votes for Williams.
Mr. Babin.
Williams.
And Mr. Babin votes for Williams. And that is everyone, right?
Yes, sir.
9 votes for Ms. Williams. And I don't think Ms. Williams or Mr. McGee are in the audience, so congratulations to those 2. Moving along, D, Homa Restoration District, 2 appointments to represent the Parish Council. Mr. Charles Kevin Champagne submits application and resume for consideration.
Motion to open, close, and appoint.
Motion to open and close Mr. Champagne to the appointment.
We pulled the second one. Yeah.
And to hold over the other appointment.
No. We have to pull the other appointment.
Okay, say your motion, Ms. Domingue.
I'd like to open, close, and appoint Mr. Kevin Champagne, and we're going to actually pull the other appointments.
So we actually only have 1 appointment,
Yeah,
not 2.
correct.
So open, close, and appoint Mr. Champagne, and
Second.
remove the other position. Seconded by Mr. Michel. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Champagne is appointed. Now, as an oversight, there was left off a public comment.
Motion to add on public comment.
We have a motion by Ms. Domingue to add public comment onto the agenda, seconded by Mr. Dirk Guidry. Is there anybody in the public that believes we shouldn't add public comment onto the agenda?
Motion to close.
A motion to close public comment, Mr. Dirk Guidry, seconded Mr. Danny Babin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to add on.
Motion to add on public comment.
We have a motion to add on in a second. So all in favor to add on? Aye. Is there any opposition? All right. Sorry about that. Miss April, is it Calais? April, okay. I'm sorry, I couldn't read your handwriting. Come up to the... And if you don't mind stating your name and address for the record.
My name is Apria Wallace, address 502 Ashlong Street, Homer, Louisiana, 70363-5228.
You've got 3 minutes, Wallace, go ahead.
Okay, my first, I'm not sure the highway leading from the overpass Prospect, where Walgreens and CVS is at. The roads are really bad. I'm not sure if that's part of Terrebonne Parish consolidated government or not. And if not, I would like to know who is in charge of that area so I can contact them. I've been here 17 years, and that road have been bad for 17 years, and I think something should be done about it.
We can't discuss it, but I'll let Mr.
Discussion.
Okay, go ahead.
Tomorrow will be the DOTD MPO meeting, and we'll bring that up too.
Okay. And the second problem, I stay on Ashlong, as I stated, it have a, on Payne Street, they have a fence that's been down for the last 3 months. I contact several people. I contact my councilman about it. I called Doug, I called him twice, and...
Please, if we're talking about individuals, it's not on our agenda.
No, I'm just
But
saying.
what
who
is
I
your issue on
contact. My issue is the fence been down for 3 months. Okay, it's a liability. Somebody's child gonna fall in there. They dumping trash in there. And like everybody's considered about the west side, I want the same consideration for the east side. That's like everybody loves the west side, I love the east side, because that's where I stay. So I need something done about that. Somebody's child gonna fall in there, and it's gonna be a lawsuit against the parish. And I'm trying to nip that in the butt before it happened. And it's been 3 months like that. And all I asked them, put up a barrier, put up something to stop kids from going near there. Because somebody is going to fall. And then it's going to be shoulda, woulda, coulda. And then it's going to be too late. And that is my problem. And I would like for it to be solved.
Thank you, Ms. Wallace. You've made us aware. Thank you. All right. Moving along to vacancies to various boards, committees, and commissions. Mr. Michel, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I wanted to just for the record, I feel it's important to say I love the east side too, even though I live on the west side.
Recreation District 3A Board has one expired term. Recreation District 10 has one expired term on August 26, 2022. The Bayou Blue Fire Protection District Board has one expired term. The Coteau Fire Protection District Board has one expired term. Fire Protection District number 8 Board has one expired term. And although it's on the agenda, the Houma Restoration District does not have one appointment representing the Terrebonne Parish Council. Monthly engineers reports, GIS engineering, as per Mr. Dirk Guidry. Second, Mr. Gerald Michel. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? 7, staff reports. Introduce an ordinance to acquire in full ownership the following property adjudicated to the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public purpose, parcel number 32061, with municipal address 302 Island Road, and with owner of Luke Nakan, and to address other matters relative thereto, and call a public hearing on Wednesday, August 10th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. Move Mr. Dirk Guidry, seconded Mr. John Amity. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item B is
I have a motion to add on a resolution.
hold on, go ahead and Ms.
I'd like to make a motion to add on the resolution for the IGA with Terrebonne Parish Court Commission.
Okay, we have a motion to add on a resolution for the IG and the Terrebonne Port Commission. We have a second by Mr. Gerald Michel. Any public would like to weigh in on whether we should add this onto the agenda? Public once, public twice, third time public.
Motion to close public.
Motion to close, Mr. Gerald Michel, second Mr. Dirk Guidry. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Do we have a motion to?
Motion to add on.
To adopt the resolution?
Motion to adopt, sorry.
Motion to adopt the resolution by Ms. Domingue, seconded by Mr. Gerald Michel. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution is adopted. 8, announcements. Parish President, Mr. Dove, do you have any announcements?
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman. But we will look into that matter what this lady was talking about.
Thank you. And Mr. Carl Harding?
Yes, on Friday at 6:30 at Dumas Auditorium. Even though I'm the council District 2, I'm going to actually make him a little more comfortable position in a town hall where we can actually tell where we are within our district, and perhaps answer a few questions and get up close to some of the people and the constituents, not just in my district, but those that may be concerned about certain things, that I can get up close and personal with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harding. Mr. Michel.
Yeah, I just want to let the public know that this weekend on Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday matinee at the what's the one over there at the convention center? Yeah, the municipal, thank you, Jessica.
Okay.
At the municipal auditorium, SOLA will be having a presentation of Mary Poppins put on by some very talented children, and they would love to have you out there supporting this wonderful organization and these very talented kids. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Domingue and I have just returned from the National Association of Counties Conference. And I can't speak for Ms. Domingue, but I know I got a lot of things that I was able to bring out of that conference. A lot of it through economic development that I do plan to meet with Mr. Cohen Guidry with TEDA and share those with him. Also attended a lot of quality of life sessions to see how other parishes and counties do it. And I thought it was very enlightening. Seeing no more, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Motion to adjourn, Ms. Domingue. Seconded, Mr. Gerald Michel. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thanks, guys.